Hey, what's going on, guys? Robert Warshak here, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the new cards, as we know, coming from Scholomance. They're releasing tons and tons of cards per day, so I'll try to keep up. The last card that we left off with was the Flesh Giant. So let's take a look here. We've got the Priest Warlock dual class card. It's an epic 8 mana 8/8. As we know, the Giants are, and it costs 1 less for each time your heroes' health change during your turn. So first thing that comes to mind is like Warlock. They tap, and then they draw into the Broadmother. So not only did they take 2 damage from tapping, the Broadmother heals them +4. Their health changed twice in 1 turn, reduces this guy down by 2. So where does this fit in with Priest and Warlock right now? I mean, 0 mana 8/8s are pretty chill, right? And as we know, Priests constantly heal themselves. So this guy being like lower than 4 mana, really, I don't see it being that hard to do. Like at all. I mean, I think you could weave it into most control decks. Well, Zoo has like Flame Imp. It's got, you could play it with the little vulture guy that when you take damage, it summons a minion. And then you have the other guy that says when you take damage, you get mana back. So there's like some shenanigans with the mana and the damage and the guys. And then you also have the 3 mana, or is it a 4 mana 3/6? It's a little girl with like apples or some shit. She's holding a staff, and it says at the start of your turn, you deal 1 damage to yourself. So looking, I can see it also being good at Zoo. You also have, what is it, the 2 or 3 mana 4/5 that when you attack, deal 3 damage to yourself. So Flesh Giant in Zoo is not that far off. Plus, when it goes down to 1 mana, which again isn't going to be that hard, you could play Carpet, right? And then you could Carpet Flesh Giant out, and he has Rush. But I'm not gonna lie, this guy's fucking gross. Look at this guy. He's disgusting as hell. He's got like some fuzzy fucking top half over here. He's got some tree bark looking eye shit growing on his arm. He's got some like Bigfoot-esque. He's got like a hand coming out of his chin. I mean, this guy's all sorts of fucked up. I do like his shoulder though. Cabal Acolyte. 4 mana 2/6 taunt. Spell burst. Gain control of a random enemy minion with 2 or less attack. So on Twitter, I did see that when you spell burst this guy out, you cannot attack with the minion that you get from this guy immediately. It's not like a Shadow Madness that you get to like attack with it, right? So it goes to your side and you don't get to do anything with it for that turn. But granted, the fact that it has taunt makes this card good, especially when priests have very cheap spells. Like most of the time, like you look at Renew, Smite, Penance, like it's really not hard to combo a cheap spell with this guy, like somewhere in the middle game, to take a 2 attack minion. And if it was 3 attack minion, this card would be absolutely just busted. So 2 attack may seem like it's not as that powerful, but against most aggressive style decks or mid-range decks, it can take quite a few things. Looking at like the Hunter Prime, the Hunter Poison card, almost any card in a Murloc deck, so card seems like it'd be pretty good. This card, however, seems absolutely super cool, awesome sauce. So it's a 5 mana Mage Legendary, 3 attack, 8 HP. So stat-wise, this card is huge. Like, you don't even play this for, like, 3 attack at 5 mana, it's whatever, but 8 health is, that's a hefty. And then it says, after you cast a spell, gain spell damage +1. As we know, mages, they like to play spells, so I see it being pretty easy to get this done. And right now we're at a point with Mage that they run a lot of cards that reduce the cost of spells in the deck, looking at Incanter's Flow. So being able to kind of cast a lot of spells in 1 turn is something that mages have always sort of excelled at. And if you're thinking, well, you know, I'm playing a no minion mage, Rob, how am I supposed to play this minion in my no minion mage? And the thing is, chat, look at the mana cost of this card and think of the reason that you play No Minion Mage. You play No Minion Mage because of cards like Apexis Blast. Apexis Blast summons 5 mana minions! And what is this card? 5 mana. So Apexis Blast can summon this sucker right here. And that's what you like to see. Gonna be good. It's gonna be good, chat. 3 mana 2/4. Your other characters are immune while attacking. So there's been a lot of people on both sides of the spectrum. This card is super OP, broken. You know, you play this card, you start trading shit, and all your homies live, and you kill a bunch of stuff. And then there's the other side where people say it's a win more card. where if you already have a board, you know what I mean, you could just go face, and because you're playing a Demon Hunter or Hunter, you're most likely going to win in the very near future anyway. The fact that this is a Demon Hunter card does give it a little bit more flexibility, but most of the time in these Demon Hunter / Hunter matchups, you're not necessarily trading. But in the mirror matchup, a lot of these games you're playing for the board, which means a lot of the minions are fighting one another, and you're making it very awkward for your opponent to trade into your minions. Against control, we can also trade the minions into a taunt minion. Yeah. So you just make the trades and your homies don't die. But, you know, if we look back just a couple cards, this card can steal this card, and then the priest can make the trades because it has 2 attack. Yeah, this is really just a priest card, chat. This is actually just a priest card, and you didn't even know it all along. Quick note, Draco, Demon Hunter Extraordinaire in the chat, mentioned the Warglaives being able to attack, and it works as if it was a blur also, because your characters, not just minions on the board, your hero as well. Very good. All right, this card's power level just increased significantly. Before he was good, and now he's like better than good. He's like good. He's like good. Plus he looks badass. I mean, he's a Demon Hunter with a bow, and he's like all sorts of like felled out of his mind. This is what a drunk Demon Hunter off power looks like. Just drunk off the fell. You know, that's a Saturday night for him. So we have a 3-mana 2/2 Warrior Paladin weapon here. Spellburst, summon a student with taunt and stats equal to the spell's cost. So at first, I looked at this card and I didn't realize it was Spellburst. I thought it was just like lose a durability when you play a spell. And I thought that was like much better because you could use it as a weapon to clear, or if you want to save it for later for value, you could use stuff like Dimensional Ripper. You could place things, just any high costing spell, right? And use it for the value instead of using it for just to attack in the early game. So I thought it had like 2 different uses, but the Spellburst makes it, to me, significantly less powerful comparative to like Livewire Lance and or the Wrench Caliber, because Wrench Caliber can shut down Highlander and does damage. Livewire Lance generates lackeys, which is value, board presence, healing. Lackeys can just do crazy shit. I don't see this being a great warrior weapon. I see this being more of a paladin weapon. You know what I mean? I see this more of like on the paladin side of things, not necessarily the warrior side of things. But I could be wrong, but I'm not really a fan of this weapon at all. I am not a fan at all. Totem Goliath, 5-mana 4/5. He himself is Das Totem. Death Rattle, summon all 4 basic totems, overload 2. Totemic Reflection, and he works with all of the 0-mana totem stuff. Axe duplicates him. Okay. So the totem tag is huge. Okay, all right, I see it now. Yeah. All right, I understand now, chat. I see. I did not truly appreciate the tag of totem until I now register that you can duplicate him and buff him with everything that would also just be good with totems. But right now, Totem Shaman is a very aggressive deck, and this is a very not super aggressive card. This is a value card. Totem Shaman needs more support than just this guy, but he's like a good sort of like route. Like this is what it would need plus more to get there. Glide. So this card's like big controversy, right? So this is a 4-mana, shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 4 cards, outcast, your opponent does the same. So as the aggro player, top decking this card is absolutely insane versus a control deck, right? Because let's say, hey, they have 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in their hand, and they're killing your shit, and you've got 2 cards in your hand, and you draw this. I mean, you literally put them at the same level as you. This also not only is good against the control matchup as the Demon Hunter, it's very good against combo decks. So if you're playing, for example, a control Demon Hunter, and as a control deck, you don't have a lot of burst, and you may not have the time to be able to kill the OTK deck, and they're putting together some sort of components for this, you're able to glide and disrupt their combo. So it can be used in aggressive Demon Hunter. It can be used in more control style Demon Hunter to do like some sort of anti-combo. I think it's a little too expensive to run for draw and tempo Demon Hunter. What if Demon Hunter just turns into like even more throw up? So you'd run 2 skulls and 2 glides and just a whole bunch of minions that cost less than 4. So then you just, it's like the old Divine Favor for Paladin. They would literally just, their deck was filled with 1, 2, and 3 cards, and then they would throw up and then Divine Favor. This will either make way for like a stupid hyper aggressive demon hunter, or it's only going to see play for like anti-combo. Philosophy. 1 mana, copy the lowest cost demon in your hand, outcast, give both +1/+1. It's a warlock demon hunter card. I mean, it seems good to me, whether it's played late in the game, early in the game. Paying 1 mana to duplicate a cheap card and being able to play both of them, because it gives both 1/1. So it's automatically a 1 mana 2/2. And a 1 mana 2/2 is played right now. And then normally if you're running a demon in your deck, it's probably better than just a 1 mana 2/2, and you're making 2 of them. So not only is it going it's a 1 mana 2/2, it's a 1 mana 2/2, you also get another card. So this card is, to me, very, very good. 3 mana 4/3, after you play a rush minion, summon a copy with 1 health remaining. So the stat 3 mana 4/3 stat wise is just good. And then rush minions for warrior, I mean, you have the prime, you have Restless Mummy, Brute, the Invoke Galakron Dragons. As cool as this is, I don't think it's that good, because if you play this with Mummy, it's turn 7. Turn 7, you don't give a shit about an extra Mummy, right? Like, you're playing Mummy on turn 4 and trading. That's just how it is. If this card, however, was like a 3 mana 3/4, it would be a little bit better because it has a higher chance to live. So you could play this on turn 3 and then play Mummy on turn 4, which is obviously what they were thinking about this card, was with Mummy costing 4 and the Prime costing 4, you'd play this the turn before those because, you know, fucking Curvestone. But I don't know. I would have liked to see this card either cost more mana and be better statted, or the stats reversed. But as is, I don't really see this card being that good. Cool ability though, but not that good. 9 mana 7/7, Archwitch Willow. Ooh, Widi-chan, waifu, hoo-hoo, how you doing? I like the little imp on her shoulder. Battle Cry. Summon a random demon from your hand and deck. So Demon Warlock. I mean, we saw the Demon Hunter Warlock card that copied the lowest demon in your hand. So, I mean, it's just a value card. She summons shit immediately. A lot of demons right now have taunts. Looking at like Broadmother, looking at the Dreadlord. So that could be interesting. I don't think she's terrible, so I like her. I'll play her. I'll play her in Big Demon Warlock. We'll get it done. This guy is really cool. 1 mana 1/1, battle cry, deal 1 damage, spell burst, return this to your hand. So this guy reminds me of the guy in he has the pen and he like fucking whistles and the pen goes all over the place and kills people. Guardian of the Galaxies. Fucking derp. I was like, it has Groot in it, and then that just like triggered the name. Pen Flinger with questing adventure. It's Elven Archer, but twice. It's Elven Archer, but forever. Because remember, guys, battle cry, deal 1, spell burst, return to your hand, which means when you play it again, it deals 1, spell burst, return to your hand. It just keeps happening. It doesn't stop. This is forever. The only time this will stop was when they don't return it to their hand with spell burst. Yeah, I mean, this just seems like a pretty cool, versatile card. And Rogue has a bunch of cheap stuff. So this will go into like this will go into like a spell rogue or like a damage rogue, right? It's also not a bad like anti-aggro tool. Like, it just has like a lot of uses with questing. It has a lot of uses with spells. It can pick off minions. And it just seems like a pretty versatile, kind of cool card. Reminds me also like Yada from Yu-Gi-Oh! This card is really cool. 5 mana 4/4 Rush. Whenever this attacks, give your weapon 1/1. So basically, if you have a weapon out, this guy automatically is gonna get. He's automatically an upgrade. So for him being a 5 mana 4/4, upgrade costs 1 mana in itself. So pretty fucking cool. He synergizes with the copy or rush guy. He does. So you basically get 2 upgrades, but you only can play it on turn 8 because the other card's 3 mana. Yeah, this card's just this is an auto include. This just seems like if you don't kill this card, you kind of just win, right? Because your weapon just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And if that thing's going face or generating more lackeys or killing more minions, that's just generally really good, right? It's also a rogue card, so it can be played with the Scimitar boys. So the Scimitar is already a 3 mana 4/2 if it gets comboed out. So this turns Scimitar into a 3 mana deal 15. And if they deadly poison the Scimitar and they add 2 more attack, that's a 1 mana deal 6 because it has 3 charges to it. Scimitar and Rogue and Wrench Caliber and Warrior just got some shit. And him having Rush, I mean, you just get it, right? As long as your opponent has a minion out, this guy's gonna be able to get it done. New Star Student, 4 mana 4/3 Outcast. Look at 3 cards in your opponent's hand. Shuffle one of them into their deck. Demon Hunter Legendary. I like this card so much. So knowing cards that are in your opponent's hand, like for example, Madame Lazul. You get to see 3 cards and you pick one. So this is just reverse Lazul. And stat-wise, it lines up with reverse Lazul because Lazul is a 3-mana 3/2 and she is a 4-mana 4/3. And whether putting a card back and or taking a card, depending on the situation, you know, is sometimes one is better than the other. But generally, putting cards back in your opponent's deck is nice because if they have some sort of AoE or something to stop what you are currently doing, you would like to just remove that as a factor in total. She's also very good in a more aggressive style Demon Hunter because she stops your opponents from having answers. She's a 2-for-1 because when you play her, she's getting rid of something from your opponent's side immediately, and then they have to use a card to kill her. And you can play her in a control deck because it's just value, knowing what's in your opponent's hand, and you get to like put back something, especially a combo piece. Mage Hunter, 3-mana 2/3, rush. Whenever this attacks a minion, silence it. It's kind of an expensive silence, boys, because when you run this card into something that has taunt or some death rattle or whatever you want, most of the time that's going to be a pretty big card. There's not a lot of very inexpensive death rattle or taunt cards that people play. So I think you're better off really just playing the 1-mana silence card, and if you outcast it, you draw a card. I don't think this card is that good. So this is like a really good card that can get randomly generated through 3-drops now. Like this is a great 3-drop randomly. This is a great 3-drop in the pool of 3-drops that can get, you know, generated. Maybe for those prime cards like Zixor, well, you can just play the 1-mana spell that silences the Zixor stuff. Yeah, Serpent Shrine Portal. This is great with the portal now because you can portal something, generate a rush, attack into something out, it gets silenced. I don't think this card is inherently good. I don't think any Demon Hunter is going to be... Like, I would never put this in my controlled Demon Hunter deck. Maybe in Highlander it would be okay just to have more stuff. But I think it's better as a randomly generated 3-drop. Lorekeeper Polkelt. 4-mana 4/5. So the stats are huge for what it does. And its battle cry is reorder your deck from the highest costing cards to the lowest. So that means, you know, if you have a 10-drop in the deck, you're going to draw your 10 drops first, the lowest being at the bottom. The first thoughts when I saw this card was basically Quest Warlock. So the Warlock completes its quest, right? Then they play this card. Malagos rises or Alexstrasza rises, or just whatever is their most expensive card still in the deck goes to the top, and then they hero power and they tap into it. So it's kind of like a guaranteed tap into a 0-mana Malagos, 0-mana Alex. Anytime you can manipulate your deck to be able to guarantee certain cards, people will find a way to cheat things out like that. Do you play this in just like kind of any deck? Probably not. But you play it in certain decks where you need to draw certain cards at a certain time. And you know, there's some rare occasions where like you could play this in like a Mage and you want to get Reno, right? You like play this and then you want Reno to be the next card you draw for the field clear. But it seems like sometimes you just don't want the most expensive card in your deck. Like once you do this, you basically know exactly what your opponent's gonna draw, and it's easier to play around it, and it's harder for you to like weave spells in. You know what I mean? So there is drawback to this guy, but I think you just play him in decks where you can just cheat out 0-mana stuff. So that's going to wrap up this card review. Again, as more cards get released, we will cover them and talk about them and discuss them. I am interested, again, as always, which out of these cards seems good? Which ones are you guys looking forward to? There's a lot here. And as always, I'm excited. There's a lot of flavor in this expansion. Like some expansions, there's like not really too much that stands out, with again having these like dual class cards, which already brings flavor in itself. A lot of these cards, like, you know, Star Student, Lorekeeper, I mean, there's some big flavor in this expansion so far, and we've kind of just maybe reached like the halfway point. I don't think we're that really far into it. There's still a lot of cards to be released, so definitely going to still be looking forward to it. As always, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next episode, of course. I'm Robert Warshak, and happy whatever the hell day it is.